We're now going to look at a step which I find is one of the most vital steps for small business owners in order to get the most amount of change in your rankings for the least amount of work. This is something that tends to often make an immediate impact and then continues to make an impact for months to come. So what are those things? Well, the first thing is what we would call your SEO title, or it might be called your title tag or your title meta description. And it's basically the title that Google gets to look at, as well as people, that gives them an indication about what your page is about. So, as an example, if we search for Chiropractor Melbourne, so that's what we've typed in, and these are the results that come back. So notice how this person who's in first place here has the keyword Chiropractor Melbourne at the beginning of what we call their title tag or their SEO title for the home page of their site. You notice that this page also has Chiropractors Melbourne, Chiropractor Melbourne, got chiropractors in Melbourne, Melbourne Chiropractic. It sort of becomes less. You've got Wellness Chiropractor Melbourne, Melbourne City Chiropractor. So see how it's the ones that sort of has like Chiropractor Melbourne that tend to be in the top 3. And a lot of people just don't realize how powerful this is as far as being able to rank your website for the keywords that are really important. Now here we're looking at like the home page URL of each site. So there's not a lot you can do about the URL, but this one actually has Chiropractor Melbourne in the URL as their actual business name. That used to be a lot more powerful than it is now. Having it up in this title is more powerful than having it in the domain name in many cases. Let's have a look, Chiropractor Sydney, what comes up for that? So again, we've got, their business name is coming up with something that Google can often put that in front, or it might be their page that's putting that in front, but you've got Chiropractor Sydney, Chiropractor Sydney, Sydney Chiropractor. It's really important. We go back to the Melbourne one, and so let's say I go to people who are on the 6th page of Google. Now let's see if we can find it. So this one's got Chiropractic Melbourne, but it's an internal page of a natural therapies website. So it's not the actual chiropractor page. This one's got Chiropractor Melbourne, but it's way back along, and it's an internal page of their site. So you can see how that's actually ranking higher than this one, which is the home page of their website. They don't have Chiropractor Melbourne in their title. Let's find another. Again, this one is the home page of this website. They don't have Chiropractor Melbourne in the title of their home page. So you've got other websites that have got Chiropractor and Chiropractic Melbourne. It's an internal page of another website ranking higher than the home page of this small business. If we go to page 10, you'll start to see that there's even less of them. Again, here we've got Chiropractor Melbourne, but it's an internal page of this back pain directory. And if we search down, here we go. Here's one. That's the home page of their small business website, and they're ranking on the 10th page of Google. They don't have Chiropractor Melbourne in their title at all. So it's really important to have like whatever your main keyword is in the very beginning of the title tag. It's one of the most powerful things that I've found to increase your rankings. So just say we wanted to find out, okay, well, I'm a chiropractor and I want to know, well, what else are people searching for in Google and what kind of pages should I create? So if we search for the Google AdWords keyword planner, I'm just going to type the whole thing in. and then we go to the Google AdWords keyword planner, or you can just sign straight into create a Google AdWords account and sign straight in. It's asking me to resume, or I can start again. If I press start again, then it will kind of wipe all the information that I have in there. So that's okay for now, so we'll do that. And so when you get to a page on your site that has allowed you to log in, then what you want to do is search here for new keyword and group ideas. And we're going to put in...
It's 14 hours.
Chiropractor Melbourne. And then we're going to get ideas. If you were searching for AdWords, you might want to use the ad group ideas. I usually just go straight into this one here, which is the keyword ideas. Okay, so when you come into this section here, the thing that is quite important is to go over here to the ad groups and to set the match type. I don't want broad match. I want it to be on exact match. So now it should come up with exact match. Okay, so what this is showing me is the number of people in Australia, because I have mine set for Australia, who are searching for a chiropractor in Melbourne. So it's saying there's 880 people a month who are searching for a chiropractor in Melbourne. And then you can see there's 111 who are looking for a chiropractor in Melbourne CBD. So if you are in the Melbourne CBD, then you probably want to put Chiropractor Melbourne CBD in your actual title tag. You can see that Chiropractors Melbourne is only 50, so there's a massive difference between the two of those. Chiropractors in Melbourne. Okay, so you might be somebody who's a pediatric chiropractor. So your home page of your website is going to be optimized for Chiropractor Melbourne, like we saw over in these ones over here. And you might, in the home page, put something else as well in the title. It might be in the south or north side of Melbourne, so it might be Chiropractor Melbourne north side or south side, or it might be the suburb that you're in, or a couple of the suburbs that you're covering that you want to put in the rest of that title tag. But what we've found is that there is 30 people who want a pediatric chiropractor in Melbourne. So then what you want to do is create a specific page on your website that's targeted at that keyword. So let's have a look if we search for Pediatric Chiropractor Melbourne. And you'll see that it looks like there's hardly any actual chiropractor who's created a page on their website with Pediatric Chiropractor Melbourne. So if you are at the moment a pediatric chiropractor in Melbourne, create a page on your website with that as the SEO title, which I'm going to show you how to do, because it looks like apart from this person here who's got Pediatric Chiropractor in Melbourne and Pediatric Chiropractor in Melbourne, because the first listing here is actually a newspaper listing. So at the moment it's saying that an internal page of a newspaper is coming up as more as the most relevant page for that, rather than an actual chiropractor in Melbourne who works on kids. This website is showing the About Us page for them, because this must be it's Chiro Child is their domain name. If they had Pediatric Chiropractor Melbourne as in the title of that page, then potentially they could rank higher for it. Now, it may well be that there's more people searching for children's chiropractor, babies chiropractor, because it looks like that's what they're counting on, that there's more people searching for that. So we'll go and have a look and see if there really is. See how this one's got, this is the home page of their site. Looking for an experienced pediatric chiropractor in Melbourne. They should have that turned around. It should be Pediatric Chiropractor Melbourne, and then something about how experienced they are. And then this is, internal page of some other completely irrelevant website. Okay, let's go and have a look at, if we put Pediatric Chiropractor Melbourne, children's Chiropractor Melbourne, baby. Let's see what happens then. So we see there that actually Baby Chiropractor Melbourne has way more people searching for that. So you might want to create a page where the title is Baby Chiropractor Melbourne, Pediatric Chiropractor Melbourne. So if we look down this list, we see that there's also some of the Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne. So let's see. So we see there's a Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne. So put that one in. So we've got Bub Hub, so this is the first one that looks like it's an actual chiropractor. And they're in Melbourne, so ideally they should really have Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne as the start of this SEO title for this internal page of their site. Here's another one, Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne, because this is the keyword that people are actually searching for. If they had that up there in the SEO title, they would most likely potentially outrank these other pages, or at least have the opportunity to do that. So this one's got Pregnancy Back Issues Chiropractor Melbourne, Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne. Potentially they should have Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne dash back issues, blah, 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 whatever else it is that people have. Because even if there's people because I don't think there'd be anyone searching for Pregnancy Back Issues Chiropractor with the words in that order, but you never know. So it's saying nobody's searching for Pregnancy Back Issues Melbourne, as opposed to 20 people who were searching for Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne. Even if we had Pregnancy Back Issues, and this is where some people, there's not even anyone searching for that. So as far as the title goes, that really should be Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne. Then you can put back issues or whatever you want to put after that. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a bit of an understanding of how the SEO titles work and how they can have a massive impact on where you're ranking. And this URL is actually really good because they've got the keyword in there. They just don't have it in the right order in the title. And then in the meta description, this is your opportunity to sell that page. So that description that they've got there is pretty good because it's talking about how they particularly assist with issues in pregnancy. Now you want to know, well, how do I actually change these? How do I create these? And look, it can really depend on what content management system that your website is set up on. Some content management systems are very difficult to change these titles on, and you may have to actually get your web developer to go in and do them manually. But there's a lot of other systems like WordPress, Joomla, and lots of other content management systems where you can actually go in and correct these and change these yourself. So what we're going to do now is have a look at an example on WordPress for how you can go in and actually create these SEO titles and meta description. So what you want to do is go into your website and go into the section where you can create a new page, wherever that is. And so in this case, we're going to put the title of this page as Chiropractic for Pregnancy, because even though we're targeting what is it? Pregnancy chiro. So even though the target keyword is Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne, if that was the title of the page, that may be a little bit strange. So you want to have a title of your page that actually makes sense to the people, and sometimes a keyword will, but sometimes it doesn't. And then you want to write your content in the page, which we will get into later. And then in this instance, I've got the WordPress SEO by Yoast plugin, and I like it because it allows me to see what I'm actually going to see in that snippet preview. So my focus keyword, or the one that I've decided that that I want to optimize this page for, is Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne. So the focus keyword section here is just a check for me to see how well my page is actually doing for that particular keyword. So this isn't like, this section doesn't help Google in any way to find the page. This is purely so that we can make sure how well we're doing on the page. So then we want to put Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne. And so you can see now we've put it in the page title, so it's saying yes for that. And then we might want to say, back issues, and then we might want to put whatever our business name is, which might be Chiro Melbourne or something like that. And then we might want to say, again, Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne. You could put it in the meta description so that it came first as well, because that keyword is going to get highlighted in the meta description. If we go back over here, you'll see that we put Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne, so wherever those words appear, it gets highlighted, it gets bolded in the meta description. So we want to have those keywords in there somewhere. So we could have Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne, and then we could say Chiro Melbourne specializes in working with women who are pregnant, or something like that, and we've got another 55 characters there. You might say, come and see us today to find out more. Something like that, and then you can see that that's what that looks like up there. So now you can see exactly what you've created for your website compared to what all your competitors are actually doing for that keyword and for this particular page on your website. So what you'll find now is that we've got it in the meta description, we've got it in the title. Now what you'll notice is that because we put Chiropractic for Pregnancy as the title of the page, it's now going to put that in the URL. So we don't want that because we want this one to be in the URL. And depending on what system you've got, it might be something where you'll have to change the alias or something like that so that in the URL you get the right one. Now obviously I'm just using this as an example because I'm not going to have Hope Organics and then Chiropractor Melbourne, but it's going to have, you know, if you're a chiropractor, obviously your chiropractic site there. If you had the word Melbourne actually in your domain name, you might not want to put it at the end here because it's already in the domain name, but probably not going to make that much difference. So anyway, we've got it in the URL now. It's not picking that up yet. We'll just save the draft. So now it's, oh, so I've got an orange check here. It's now saying it's in the URL. It's not in the article heading because we decided that putting Pregnancy Chiropractor Melbourne as the title of the page was a bit weird. But if you really wanted to, you could. But we really want to make it as user-friendly as possible for people. And then obviously you've got the potential to write it somewhere in the content. So you might want to put it in a heading somewhere. It's a difficult kind of word to write in the content when you're starting to use suburb or city names in it. So even if you just got Pregnancy Chiropractor throughout the content, because we've got Melbourne sort of in the URL and we've got it in the SEO title, then I don't personally believe that it's that important to have those 3 exact words in that exact order within the content. I think it's much better to write naturally and make sense to people. But we'll go more into this and what to put on the page in some of the later videos. Then it will give you a page analysis as well, so you can either click on it with this plugin, you can check it there, and it's basically saying, obviously we've only got 1 word in the body, far too low, so you want to have probably at least 300 words on a page if it's a service page. Not in the first paragraph, no images, blah, blah, blah. So it gives you some other options there of things that you can do. And we'll go more into that in some other videos. But if you just remember that if it's possible somewhere within your system to be able to have an SEO title and a meta description that in order to tell Google what it is that you want them to be seeing on that for that page. Now at the moment I'm going to publish this so you can see, but I don't want Google to index it, so I'm going to ask them to no index it so that I don't have to redirect it. And so we're now going to publish that page. Now in Firefox, one of the reasons that I like Firefox is that when I now go to that page, I can see that this is the SEO title that I've created for that page up there. And here's the page on my website with no content on it yet. But yeah, as you can see, it's kind of up there in the title now. In other browsers, you can see it in various other places. But ultimately what's going to happen is that this part here is what's going to come up in here. So if you go through every single page on your website and see, okay, what is this page about? Have I found like the best keyword phrase to be putting at the front of this SEO title tag for that particular page? And have I written a meta description that's got the keyword in it and also is highly specific about what that page is about? So small businesses usually have some kind of products and services, and then they have often have blog posts. So you want to make sure that for every single type of service that you provide, that you have a page on your website that targets that service. And you can use this tool to find things. Just say we went pest control, and what we found is that there's 6,600 searches a month for that exact phrase, pest control. Then you can see in Australia we've got pest control Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Brisbane. Sydney pest control. So you can see that for the home page of your site, if you're in Melbourne or Sydney or Perth or Brisbane, you want to make sure that the very beginning of your page has pest control and then whatever city you're in, and then you could have your suburbs that you cover if you wanted to. Then we're like, okay, well, commercial pest control, that could be an internal page in your site if that's the service that you provide. Natural pest control, again, that could be an internal page within your site because it may be that you only use chemicals that that don't harm anybody. It could be organic pest control. You only use completely natural, non-synthetic chemicals. You might even decide that, just say you're an organic pest control and that is your main thing that you do, then you might have organic pest control and then whatever your city name is for your main keyword, so that you get the most opportunity to rank for organic pest control for your home page rather than an internal page of your site. You could also have an internal page that covers organic pest control. So yeah, so it really depends on what the main. If you are just somebody who did commercial pest control, for instance, then you definitely want to make sure that your home page is optimized for commercial pest control and then whatever city that you're in. What have we got here? Pest control services. So that's going to be another internal page on your website. So you want the SEO title to be pest control services and then whatever city or suburbs that you're in. Now within pest control, there's also, say, termite management. And in fact, people don't search for termite management. They search for, looks like, more termite control. So let's try that. And this is the thing that the keyword tool gets you to see. I mean, what is the most common phrases that people are using? Because it's not always the phrase that you would normally use. So more people are searching for termite control than termite management. And we see, again, termite control Melbourne, Sydney. So if you did pest control, but the only thing that you did was termite control, then you really want your homepage to be optimized for termite control Melbourne. If you are somebody who does everything, then you want your homepage to be pest control Melbourne, and then you want an internal page to be termite control Melbourne. And then we've got, so let's see what else there is around. Again, we've got natural termite control, so that could be an internal service page on your site or information page. Termite protection. Okay, so that's $880 a month. So that's pretty similar to termite control. but not as many people. Let's have a look at termite treatment is even higher. Okay, let's have a look at these then. And so these ones look like there's lots of them. And so then what I'm going to ask this particular tool to do is to only include keywords that actually have those words in them. And then I want it to search for the highest numbers per month. So even though termite treatment is the highest, when people search for it on a city basis, in Melbourne, more people are using the phrase termite control Melbourne. And in Brisbane, more people use the term termite treatment Brisbane. In Sydney, they use the word control more. So, you know, this is really interesting information, because if you were, I don't know, if you had a business that covered the whole of Australia, then your internal pages could be termite control Melbourne, termite treatment for Brisbane, but termite control in Sydney. Perth uses treatment more, Adelaide treatment, and then we've got, so termite treatment Melbourne is only 70 as opposed to termite control Melbourne, which is 260. So you might have your SEO title for this particular internal page of your site, termite control Melbourne - treatment protection. So at least you're trying to, you know, get some of these pages in there. So an example would be, so just say we change that to, and in this case you could use the keyword in the actual page title. We would then put it in the URL. We then want it to be the focus keyword. And then we might want to put protection and treatment. And then you might want to put your business name after that. And then within the description, you're going to write termite control Melbourne by, you know, blah, blah, whatever your business name is. We provide termite control, protection, and treatment. Blah, 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 something else there. Call us today for a free assessment or whatever it is. So that way that you've covered the kind of things that people are searching for, but you've targeted with your SEO title the main keyword that people are searching for that particular service. So that enables you to create for your website a whole lot of service pages that are specifically targeting the type of services that your business is providing. And I believe that it's important to have these as pages on your website, services that you're offering to people. They don't necessarily have to be in the navigation of your website. So let's have a look at this one. So they've got, this is their pregnancy page. And so this is their navigation over here. So they've chosen to put that pregnancy page in their navigation, but there may be lots of other pages on their site that they don't necessarily have in that navigation. You can have pages on your site where the whole aim is just to create like a net in Google for people to be able to find them and then come to your page and then contact you. So you don't necessarily want them to do anything else other than just find this page and then contact you. Now you can use this same kind of system to then find ideas for blog posts. So there's a website you can go to called ubersuggest.org, and I'll put the link to that in the description of the video. But within this particular WordPress plugin, which is another reason why I really like it, you can find lots of ideas for blog posts. So if I just have termite control in there, it comes up with a whole list of other things that people are looking for. So what if I went termite control methods? Let's see if, here we go. And so often if you click on that and then press the space bar, it brings up even more. So you might want to write a blog post that's called Natural Termite Control Methods. You would then put that in the SEO title. And then you might have your business name, which is, blah pest Melbourne. And then in your description there, you're going to talk about natural termite control methods. And the whole idea of writing this blog post, and of course it's going to be natural termite control methods as the title, and that's going to be in the URL as well. And the idea with this blog post is that you're going to write it, and somewhere in this blog post, you're going to have a link that goes back to your termite control Melbourne, which was the original one, your termite control Melbourne page. So that's the whole idea of blog posts for a small business, service-based business, is to have your main service pages that we just went through, which is, all the ones that we're finding here in the keyword tool. And then what you want to do is create blog posts. And within that blog post, it's going to link back to your termite control Melbourne page. And that's a way of casting this huge net. You're also telling Google, yes, I've written this page about natural termite control methods, and that's great, but I'm going to link it back to my termite control Melbourne page, because that's even more important page for these people to get to, so that they can then contact me. Of course, at the end of the blog post, you can have contact us, blah, 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 but you also want to really have a link back to tell Google it's actually my termite control Melbourne page, which is the most important page. I want you to rank that higher than my blog post. If you had a page that was, because I think we had some other ones where there was, you might have a page that's natural termite control Melbourne as well. And then you might link natural termite control methods blog post back to your natural termite control Melbourne page. You can link this back to more than one page, of course. And that's the idea with blog posts, really, is to just draw people in because you've used a keyword phrase that people are looking for, and then get them to go to one of your product or services pages, or maybe even just contact you directly from the blog post. With a small business website that's a product website, then usually you have the opportunity within your system to do the same thing on your products. So for example, if I go to the products that are in this Hope Organics website, then if we go to this particular product, so it's still in draft form at the moment. So my team has been putting content on these pages, and then I've got to go through and optimize them and then publish them. And so I need to go and do the research, because this is like Calm Body Oil 100 mils, which is the name of the product. I don't know if there may be people who are actually searching for that exact phrase. Let's have a look. So it looks like people are searching for various brands of Calm Body Oil. So I could put that if this was your product and you think that people already know about the product. Otherwise, it might be, okay, well, what is this Calm Body Oil? So the main thing about this oil is that it's actually 100% organic. So we might put 100% organic body oil, Calm Body Oil. Oh, now that needs to go into there. Now let's see. So there we go. Google doesn't recognize the percentages, but yeah, you've basically got 100% organic body oil. So there's more likely to be more people searching for that than my specific brand name. So I want to make sure that I'm optimizing it for both, and I'm putting Calm Body Oil at the end because there's less likely for people to be searching for my particular brand. However, if you had a product and you knew that people are going to be searching for that exact brand that you've got, like if it's some kind of electronic thing, like some specific kind of brand of television that you're selling on your site, maybe you're a dealer and you sell so I'm just saying it's a Panasonic TV. Let's see what comes up for this. Okay, let's go into the keyword tool because we want to find, I'm trying to see what kind of brand names. Oh, I need to take that out of there. I don't know, maybe Panasonic doesn't even do a TV for all I know. Okay, let's do Samsung TV. Samsung Smart TV. (32-inch). So therefore I might have my keyword title as something like Samsung TV, whatever the specific model number is, 32-inch flat screen or whatever it is. And you want to make sure that all the most important things are actually, in that keyword title. Let's have a look. Samsung. Here we go. Okay. So if you had a product that was a Samsung Galaxy S5, then you want to make sure that that's the first thing that you've got in your title tag, because obviously more people are searching for that. You don't want to put Samsung something or other else, something or other Galaxy S5. You want to have it in that order. Okay, so that is the end of this particular step. So we're just going to go back over that again. So what we're looking at here is the SEO titles in particular, also the URLs and the meta descriptions. So this can make a huge difference as to where you rank in Google, because you can find from this Google Adwords tool the things that people are actually typing in. And once you've found that, you want to know, okay, well, have I got that at the start of my title tag? Probably not. And so what you want to then do is go into your website. You firstly want to check and see, do I already have a page that I've written about my services as a pregnancy chiropractor? If so, then I need to go in and optimize it properly down here in whatever my system allows me to do. If I don't have a page about that and it's something that people are searching for, then I need to create a page about that so that people can find it. Then what you want to do is obviously put content on the page, and you also want to do the same thing for any blog posts or any products that you've got. With blog posts, you want to make sure that any blog posts you've got link back to a relevant services page on your site. With any product pages that you've got, they don't necessarily have to link back to any other page on your site, because it's that particular product that people are searching for. So therefore you want to make sure that you've got the key information about your product, whatever it is, in this SEO title and in the meta description. So if it was a Samsung, what was it? Samsung Galaxy S5, that was the product, then we want to make sure we have that, and we want to put, I prefer to put capitals just because that's kind of the convention and that's what works. Then whatever other information that's really important about it, and then we want to put that in the meta description somewhere, and then we want to have information about your company, information about the product, why they should contact you, or how they can, or just to contact you. Find more information about it on the page. With these meta descriptions, it's really important that what you write in there is very relevant to what's on the page, because there's nothing worse than going to one of these, reading this description here, and then getting to the page and finding that the page that you've landed on has nothing about this whatsoever. Incredibly frustrating, and that's something that makes people leave the page very quickly. Oops. So even if you stopped here and didn't do anything else, the steps that we've already gone through will make a massive, massive difference to the rankings for your website. I've had sites where we have just gone in and implemented these titles and meta descriptions, and they've moved from greater than 100 up to the top 10 within the first week. And those are sites that have got really low competition. I've also had sites where there's really high competition, where we've gone in and changed these title tags, and they've moved from greater than 100 to up into the top 20 or 30 within the first month. And then gradually as the months go by and as we implement more things, it starts to move up to the top 10. I've had other sites where all I've done is just set up these SEO titles, nothing else, and over 6 months they get up into the top 10. It really is one of the most powerful steps in Australia at the moment that small business owners can do in order to get their websites ranking higher in Google, in my experience. Now look, that may change, because the more and more that people actually optimize their titles properly, the harder and harder that it becomes. But certainly at the moment, there's still a massive opportunity within Australia, and look, who knows, potentially in other countries as well, to use proper titles. And look, it may well be that if you're in a country where using chiropractor and then your city name, you know, the first 100 people all have that in their SEO title tag at the start, and you've got kind of no chance, then you've got to look at, okay, well, what are other things that are more specific? So I might have to have, you know, chiropractor and then my suburb as the first thing in my title tag, because it's just not possible for me to rank for the city. So you're just got to think about, you know, if I can't rank for a keyword, if I can't get up into the top 10 or top 5 for something, then it's always going to be better to try and target some other kind of keyword, even if that means that instead of having 1,000 people searching for you a month, you've only got 20. It's better to get all of 20 than none of 1,000. Okay, well, that is the end of this step, and I look forward to working with you on the next step.